I had some questions from people about number 12 on the review, and honestly, if I was going to give one question just to kind of see, did you get this section or did you not get this section? Just kind of a mid-level problem. I think number 12 would be a great example. Hint, 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 you're going to see things like this on any test or quizzes on this topic, and a great ACT question. Now, they may not ask you to find all three, but they can ask you to find any one of these. Anyway, this is a side splitter theorem problem. Okay, and again, they're asking you for more things than you can do at once. So you need to focus in on one thing at a time. So I've got some sides being split here. I think, let me see here, this is T right here, and this is B. So they want me to find ST, so let's start out with that, okay? We're looking at these sides and these sides, okay? The 8 has nothing to do with this right now. So again, you may want to just label the parts you're looking at. If you're looking at side splitter, just look at the two sides, okay? So the way I would do this, I'm all about doing this the easiest way possible. Remember that the sides are divided proportionally. So with the side that you've got your variable on, figure out what you've got. You've got an upper part and you've got a whole, okay? So why not use what you've got? Do an upper to whole comparison. And that's going to be equal to an upper and a whole comparison over on the other side. And so you've got 13x is equal to 90. X is going to be equal to 90/13ths. Okay? So that's the first one. All right? They want the length of TV. All right? So you come back, maybe call TV something like y. And again, we're just looking at the sides that are being split. It's another side splitter theorem. So same kind of thing. Take what they give you. Do a lower over a whole or do a whole over a lower, doesn't matter. I'm going to do a whole over lower just because this number looks like it's on top of that. So again, make sure you're labeling your parts, okay? It's really easy to get things in the wrong place. Most of these problems are just about making sure the same thing gets in one ratio as in the other ratio. So I've got a whole over a lower. Whole part is 10 when the lower part is y. And the whole part over here is 13 when the lower part is 4. So you get 40 is equal to 13y. That means y is going to be 40 over 13. And that is our second part. And finally, PT. PT is this length right here, okay? That's kind of a bottom of that triangle, which means we need the bottom information for this triangle. Remember, that was originally 8, okay? Be very careful. This is not a side splitter, okay? That is a full side of the little triangle that they're asking me for there. I'm going to call it Z. It matches up with the full side of that other triangle, okay? Anyway, it doesn't really matter which parts you fill in. I would probably use these whole number values over here as opposed to these fractional values that you had over on the other side. So maybe something like this. When you've got whole sides of triangles involved and it's not a side splitter theorem, I suggest, I know some of you can look at this and you can just figure out these values without having to draw it, but I highly encourage you to draw the triangles separately. Okay, you've got a triangle with a side length of Z and you've got a side length of 9. You've got a big triangle that has a full side length of 13 matching up with a full side of 8. And again, it doesn't matter, you can compare two things within one triangle, or you can match one corresponding part to another. You can get the right answer either way. Small to large, for example, 9 to 13 is equal to Z to 8. Okay? Or you could do 9 over Z is equal to 13 over 8. 8 over 13 is equal to Z over 9. Lots of different possibilities that will all give you the same thing. Anyway, when you cross multiply here, you get 72 is equal to 13Z. So Z is going to be 72/13ths. By the way, some alternate methods. You certainly don't have to watch the last part of this video, but some alternate methods here on the earlier problems. One of the other things you could do, for example, they ask you to find ST, and they told you the whole length is 10. If you like the pure side splitter theorem in its most basic form, you just want the upper over the lower to be equal to the upper over the lower. Remember that you can also relabel sides. So if this whole side is 10 and this side is x, this side is 10 minus x. And so then you could just do something like upper over lower is equal to upper over lower. Or you could do left over right equals left over right, right over left equals right over left, bottom over top equals bottom over top. Any of those things would give you the same answers. So I don't think those equations are quite as easy, but other possibilities that also would work.